Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on PrizePicks for Game 1 of the NBA Finals on Thursday, June the 1st. I'm excited to talk through this game with you guys. We got the Heat and Nuggets in the finals this season. This is going to be, I think, a pretty good finals. I'm excited to watch this game, excited for this series. Hopefully it's a good series and it goes, 6, 7 games. We'll have to see, but we got Game 1 on Thursday night. I got two player props I want to share with you guys for this game. But before we do talk through the two plays I like for this one, as always, if you guys do enjoy these PrizePicks videos, and if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to the channel, and if you have never checked out PrizePicks before, you can sign up for PrizePicks. You can use my promo code NOAH. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And do want to mention, PrizePicks, they still have their free square available for Game 1 of the Finals. They have Nikola Jokic's points prop set at 0.5. This will be available all the way up until tip-off, so you have still plenty of time to get this in. Definitely take advantage of that. Free square, take Nikola Jokic to have more than 0.5 points. And just find any other pick you like to pair with that, whether it's one pick or you can pair up to 5 picks with the free square. You can take a look at all the different stats that PrizePicks has. They did add a lot of new stat types for the finals. Like, there's some stuff that I haven't ever seen before. They have offensive rebounds now, so you can take more or less on a certain number of offensive rebounds for a player. They have deflections. They have defensive rebounds. These are all new stat types. Field goals missed you can actually take now. Points in crunch time is a new stat type they added. So a lot of cool stats on PrizePicks. A lot of stuff you don't really see the sports books offering, and some of the other DFS sites aren't offering these type of props. So it's cool. PrizePicks has all these different stats you can take. You take a look at. If there's anything that you like on the board, pair that with the Jokic free square. Obviously, take advantage of that while it is still available. And again, if you guys are not on PrizePicks yet, sign up. Use that promo code NOAH. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. Now, I do want to recap our two plays from our last video before we do talk through today's plays. So our last video was on Monday. There was obviously no NBA games on Tuesday or Wednesday. But on Monday, we had Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Celtics and Heat. And we did cash both of the two plays that we took in that video. We did hit the over on Jimmy Butler's fantasy score, took that at 50.5. And Jimmy Butler had a pretty good game overall. Finished with, I think, 53 fantasy points. And then we also took the over on Al Horford's fantasy score. That one was a little bit sweaty. We took Horford over 23.5, and he finished with 23.6. He went over by 0.1. So I guess there's been some times lately where we've lost by 0.1. Well, last slate we won by 0.1. So I guess can't be too mad there. Horford, I think he grabbed a rebound with like a few minutes left before he got subbed out. It was kind of a lucky cash, but we'll take it, man. We'll take it. Been doing really well lately with our PrizePicks plays. Our last 10 picks that we've given out on YouTube, we're 8-2 over our last 10 picks. Been on a nice little run. Hopefully we can carry that over into the finals and into this first game of the finals on Thursday night. So let's talk through the two plays I do like for this one, guys. We're going to start off in the fantasy score category. I have a fantasy score prop I'm liking for this game. Then I have one that we're going to talk about, a new stat type that I was taking a look at that I really like, a play I like from there. But for the first play, the fantasy score, I want to take a look at Caleb Martin's fantasy score. This line's at 29.5. Obviously, we've seen how well Caleb Martin has played the last few games, especially the last two games. He has started the last two games, moved into the starting lineup in Game 6 against Boston, started over Kevin Love, played really well, put up 45.5 fantasy points. Obviously started Game 7 last game, played really well once again, 44.5 fantasy points. Caleb Martin is a guy that I don't expect him to put up 45 fantasy points every game. But I do expect Caleb Martin to play a ton. I think he's going to play a ton of minutes. I think he's just so valuable to this Miami team right now. Not only has his offensive game been really, really good, but he's a guy that can defend really well. He's just a good player to have on your team. He's super valuable for Miami right now. The minutes are going to be there. You look at the last two games that he has started. Obviously, those were very, very important games for Miami. Game 6, they wanted to try and win that game at home. Obviously, last game they were facing elimination, so those were two very, very important games. Miami ran a really, really tight rotation in those two games. In Game 6 against Boston, Caleb Martin played 40.5 minutes, and then last game he played 45 minutes. I don't think we're going to see him play that many minutes right out of the gate, but it's possible. It is the finals, so obviously every game is super important here. We will see kind of early on in the series, especially like the first game and maybe the second game, you won't see as tight of rotations as you have been seeing lately. Like, you're probably not going to see 7-man rotations right out of the gate for these teams, but there's definitely a chance if this series goes 5, 6, 7 games that you'll start to see rotations really, really tighten as we get later on in the series. But I do still expect Caleb Martin to play a lot. I think he's going to play at least like 35, 36 minutes probably on a nightly basis. And there's definitely a chance as this series progresses, as each game gets more important, that we see Caleb Martin play like 40, 41, 42 minutes. But he's going to start. He's going to play a ton. And he's been a good per-minute producer so far in the playoffs. Now, if you look at his per-minute production during the regular season, it wasn't that great, but obviously his role was a lot different in the regular season versus now. They don't have Tyler Hero now. They don't have Victor Oladipo. Caleb Martin has taken on a much bigger role now in the playoffs versus regular season. During the regular season, he only averaged 0.72 fantasy points per minute, but so far in the playoffs, he's averaged 0.85 fantasy points per minute. So his per minute production has been way up. And if you look at his games lately, I mean, if you look at that series against Boston, he went over this line in 5 out of the 7 games against the Celtics. Had 33.3, 34.8, 30.6, 23.3, 18, 45.5, and then 44.5 fantasy points in that 7-game series. And really, you really want to focus on the last 2 games, because those are the 2 games that he has started. Those are the 2 games that he played over 40 minutes. Maybe he plays over 40 minutes here, possibly. I think we're going to get high 30s, though. I do expect Caleb Martin to average around a fantasy point per minute when he's on the floor. He's been a guy that can create his own shot. He's shown a really good offensive game. Not only has he been scoring a lot lately, but he's also been rebounding well, double-digit rebounds in back-to-back games. He's a guy that can defend as well. He can get those defensive stats. He had a steal last game. The game before that, he had a steal and a block. And he's also a player that doesn't really turn the ball over that much, so you don't really have to worry about him losing many points to turnovers. So that's the reason I kind of like this fantasy score. You could also look at like the over PRA. That was a play that I was looking at too. That line's at 24.5. I could see a scenario where Caleb Martin goes under his PRA but goes over his fantasy score, because he could get 1 or 2 steals, could get a block or something. But that's the first play I do like here, is Caleb Martin more than 29.5 fantasy score. Again, I don't expect him to continue to put up 45 fantasy points a game, but I think if he continues to play 36, 37, 38 minutes, there's going to be a pretty good chance that he puts up 30 fantasy points or more when he's playing that many minutes. I mean, if you look at his game log so far in the playoffs, the games he's played at least 35 minutes. So against the Knicks, he played 38 minutes, had 33 fantasy points. Against Milwaukee, there was a game he played 33 minutes, had 32 fantasy points. There was a game against Boston, 35 minutes, 30 fantasy points. I'm pretty sure like every game so far in the playoffs where he's played at least like 33 minutes or 34 minutes, he's gone over this line. So that's why I like this one. The first player for today is going to be Caleb Martin, more than 29.5 fantasy score. And then the other prop that I like, we're going to go to a new stat type. We're going to take a look at field goals missed. And we're going to talk about Michael Porter Jr. His line is at 7.5. And I actually like the under here for Michael Porter Jr. I like him to have less than 7.5 field goals missed. So if you look at Michael Porter Jr. so far in the playoffs, of their 15 playoff games, he's only gone, he's gone under this line in 12 out of 15 playoff games. There's only been 3 games in the postseason where he's missed 8 shots or more. Against Phoenix, he played 41 minutes, shot 4 for 13, so he missed 9 shot attempts, or had 9 field goals missed in that game. Against Minnesota, he played 31 minutes, shot 7 for 17, so he had 10 field goals missed in that one. And then against the Lakers, there was a game, I think that was game 4 recently. He played 41 minutes, had shot 5 for 16, had 11 field goals missed in that one. But every other playoff game, 12 out of their 15 playoff games, he has had 7 field goals missed or less. Now, Michael Porter Jr., if you look at like his minutes lately, he has been playing pretty big minutes. We did see kind of early on in the playoffs that his minutes were not like super, super high. There would be some games where his minutes would get cut a little bit. There'd be some games where they would play Bruce Brown over him. I could see this being a series where Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes might not be as secure, just because Michael Porter Jr. is kind of a liability defensively. Miami's a team that really likes to hunt mismatches. They're going to look for the weakest guy on defense, which could be Michael Porter Jr., could be Jamal Murray. I could definitely see scenarios where they're looking to hunt Michael Porter Jr., try and get Jimmy Butler switched onto him, or get MPJ switched onto Jimmy Butler. And if Jimmy Butler's getting guarded by MPJ, if Jimmy Butler's driving at MPJ, there's definitely a chance that he could draw some fouls. Like, I could see this being a series where you maybe see more Bruce Brown, maybe don't see as much Michael Porter Jr. So his minutes maybe could get a little bit cut here, but even if he does play 40 minutes, it's not like it's not like that could be a bad thing. I mean, obviously when you're taking an under, you don't want the player to play, as many minutes as they normally would, but there's definitely a chance that Michael Porter Jr. plays big minutes here and just plays really well. Like, he could play 40 minutes and shoot 8 for 12 or something, or 8 for 14, and have a good efficient shooting game. You look at the games where he has gone under this prop. The 3 games he went under, he shot 31% from the field, 41% from the field, and 30% from the field. Normally, Michael Porter Jr. is not that inefficient of a shooter. I mean, you look at the postseason so far, there's only been like a handful of games where he has shot under 40% from the field. And in some of those games, he shot like there was a game he shot 30% from the field and still had still had 7 field goals missed. There was a game he shot 28% from the field. He shot 2 for 7, still had 5 field goals missed, so he went under this line. Like, it's not like we need Michael Porter Jr. to play badly. I mean, if anything, I guess we kind of want him to play well. We want him to shoot the ball well, but there's definitely a chance that maybe he's just, minutes get cut, or maybe he, gets into foul trouble. Maybe they look to switch Jimmy Butler onto him. Like, I definitely could see a lot of ways this under cashes, whether it's from MPJ shooting the ball really well, or it's from, his minutes getting cut a little bit. Maybe they go with Bruce Brown over him. So that's why I kind of like this one. Plus, you look at so far in the playoffs, MPJ has gone under this line in 12 out of 15 games. He's also been playing really well at home in the playoffs. If you do look at their home games so far, he hasn't gone under this line in any of their home games, or he's only gone under this line in 1 out of their home games. So I think they've had 8 games at home so far in the playoffs. Let me look at that, make sure that's correct. Yeah, they've had 8 games at home in the postseason so far. These are the field goals missed for MPJ in those 8 games. 5, 6, 4, 5, 4, 7, 2, and 10. There was obviously that one game he shot 7 for 17. But other than that, he's gone under this line in 7 out of 8 home games. I think that kind of makes sense because MPJ is one of these guys, like a role player that can feed off the home crowd. And if he starts knocking down shots, I mean, he could really get some momentum, really, just be shooting the ball efficiently. The home crowd could really get him going. I guess the one thing I'm worried about is that, like, MPJ is one of these guys that when he gets the ball, he's usually going to look to shoot. So hopefully if he's shooting the ball, he's just making his shots. But I could definitely see a scenario where maybe he's just not as aggressive offensively. Maybe this game turns into a blowout. Like, there's a lot of ways this under could cash, and it's not necessarily like we need MPJ to play poorly. I mean, he could have a really good game and still cash this under. So that's what I'm liking as our 2 plays for today. We've got a fantasy score prop, which is one, a fantasy scores we've been taking a lot in the playoffs. But then I did want to take a look at some of these new stat types, and the under 7.5 field goals missed for MPJ is one that I do like here. So these are the 2 props. I kind of like taking a first look at the board right now, guys, on Wednesday when I'm recording this video, but I'll be taking a look at the board again on Thursday, trying to find some more plays to give out. I'll be sharing those over on Patreon later, Thursday afternoon. So if you guys want more PrizePicks plays from me, check out the Patreon linked down below in the description. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. As always, make sure you hit that like button down below if you guys did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, and again, if you've never checked out PrizePicks before, you can sign up for PrizePicks. You can use my promo code NOAH, get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it did help. We've been doing really well with our PrizePicks plays lately on these YouTube videos, 8-2 over our last 10 picks. Hopefully, we can carry that momentum into this game and continue to do really well, make some money here. But again, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.